Today in the crypto space, we see the market hesitating. Bitcoin right around 95,000 and change. Ethereum still right around the $3,200 mark. And the rest of the crypto space, these altcoins are holding steady, waiting for Bitcoin, waiting for Ethereum, waiting for the total market cap to get a bit of an impulse to the upside. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. But more importantly, guys, I want to talk about a project that many are bullish on. However, the price action is stagnant, and that project is called TAO. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join that Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. We see the market showing a bit of stagnant price action. Yes, retractive to a degree. However, this retracement, as can be seen, doesn't have a lot of trading volume. Happy Friday, everybody. This is typical. Happy Friday. At the end of the day, guys, we know that the weekends, tend to be a little bit dead. We don't have a lot of volume during the weekends. The order books are thin. The trading volume dips. And as you can see, that is exactly what's happening, to the point that we began this descent yesterday. Right? So people are getting out early. The market did very well. They are preparing for trying to front run, the potential deadness that the weekends usually bring. As you can see, the market cap is still right around $3.3 trillion. Yes, on a bit of a retracement, losing 1.5%. But again, without market participation, it's going to be very, very hard to sustain this move to the downside, right? We need participation. Where's the sell pressure? There's not that much as of yet, okay? Just got to be real about it. Bitcoin down 2%, Ethereum down 1.6%, and the rest of the space, to be honest, is also retractive. We are seeing a few dips throughout the market, 2%, 3%, 5% from Monero, and a few others. I would say the average right now, the market is down approximately 2% on average, depending what you're looking at. AVAX came down pretty hard, 4.8% to the downside. Guys, join that Discord. We have Lovable in the house there, dropping all kinds of alpha. He did post the AVAX short. I posted the Ondo short as the hedge, and this is how it goes, guys. You have to understand that intraday you're going to get a bit of volatility and you might come down for a dip, but at the same time, guys, the market in general is looking great. Although in the lower time frames you might get these opportunities, but on the higher time frames we're looking okay. We're building that reversal. H-bar not looking the greatest, definitely on a downtrend. I believe what you should be worried about is Canton right now. Canton overall looks really, really frothy up there. Doesn't look really good, guys, and I called the top so far. As you guys know, I told you when to short, and that short is still looking great. Ultimately, Canton is coming down, as we do see a few others. Polkadot retracing, Rain is retracing 5%. As stronger we go up, the stronger we come down. Bittensor not looking good on the 1 hour fractal, I'll be honest. The daily's looking okay still, and we're going to talk about Bittensor TAO today to see, what's going on with TAO. At the end of the day, I haven't covered TAO in a good while, so it's kind of good to come full circle and go check up on it, see what it's doing there. ICP doing okay, considering that it hasn't done okay for so long. 41% move to the upside in the last 30 days is more than I would ever expect, right now. But it is what it is. Near protocol, still almost, I would say that the majority of the dip is almost done in the lower time frames. So be careful here, guys. We might go stagnant over the weekend, which is absolutely normal, and then wake up maybe Sunday night. Okay, so be prepared for that one. I'll be live again Sunday night, of course. Trying to navigate the fresh new week. Of course, the Asia market wakes up, and then we start to see what's going on. Pre-market open for New York and UK, so we know what's going on there. Ethereum, Athena also coming down, and a few others, guys. As you can see, the market is getting its fair share of dips. However, as long as we're going sideways, it is a good sign of strength. However, like I said, just finished saying, the majority of the market is on a dip except for Dash. Wow. Okay, Dash is doing great. And Midnight, it's not bad. 4% considering 4%. I'm glad I built a small position when I did because, again, you satisfy the FOMO with these small little bags. All right, guys, I want to talk about Bittensor. Let's see what's going on with Bittensor. By the way, Bittensor is trading right now at $274. Its market cap is about $2.6 billion market cap, so it is fairly large. Fully diluted, almost fully it's fully diluted, which means almost fully diluted, which means 50% of the market cap is already there. As you can see, where it's right around 5.7 billion, which means that 50% more or less, again, don't quote me on it, about 50% of the tokens are already in circulation. As you can see, the max supply is at about 21, circulating supply is around 9.6, so you can see about 50% already in. And what you should be questioning is, how are the rest of them going to come in? Are they airdrops? Are they, rewards for mining? Or what is the case, right? So you got to look into it, guys, because, of course, as new tokens enter the market, you get risk of dilution and so on and so forth. If the token releases and distribution is tied to performance or tied to transactional volume, at least you know that ultimately Bittensor is getting emissions as the network is being used. And technically speaking, that's a positive thing. Okay, guys? So overall, not bad. Okay, we have to understand tokenomics or tokenomics. And of course, I got deep dives and all that good stuff. And I'm always talking about tokenomics and various aspects of this market in my deep dives. All right, guys, let's check out their socials. Open Tensor Foundation. They got how many followers? 167,000 followers. That's not bad. I kind of like that. And incentivizing intelligence. Very vague. Not enough information, in my opinion. I'm curious as to if they have another X account, which usually they tag it up right here to go see. But this is the Open Tensor Foundation. And let's see what else do you have here. Pinned comment should be the most relevant and the most exciting. The foundation currently is saying on December 6th, 2025, current block reward is at about half a TAO. Currently, daily emissions is at about 3,600 TAO. So you can see that as mining happens, the emissions also happens. TAO having reduced emissions rate by 50%. So it does have a halving similar to what Bitcoin has, right? This is a model that has been emulated across the space by many projects. Halves TAO emissions and subnet alpha pool injections. Unchanged alpha participant rewards, minor validators, and earned, let's see, stake. So pretty good. Just a bit of an update for the year, which is nice to see as the halving did come into play. Bitcast, now being traded on BitGet. We're unleashing our decentralized network of creators to deliver industry-beating marketing for brands big and small. Welcome to the movement. BitGet briefs are now live on X and YouTube. Okay, good stuff there. A few little posts here and there. So it seems like they're having and a few other marketing plays here, as you can see, that are looking pretty good. TAO emissions have, again, I think that's their biggest yap right now. That's their biggest news, is the halving. And the fact that the emissions is going to be reduced by 50%. Interested in TAO exposure? Open Tensor TAO helps leverage economic incentives and decentralized network for open, accessible AI development. I like this. I like that statement. That's a great one, right? Grayscales all over it. 128 subnets. Again, that's pretty good. The subnet concept. Introducing build on Tensor. This is Bittensor needs an ecosystem, so of course they're going to encourage builders to get involved with the hack quest. Good stuff there. TAO on Binance Japan. Oh, that's good. Get a bit of volume there. And a few other good news. Guys, go check them out. Follow them on the socials. Make sure you get involved so that you know what's happening with the latest and the greatest here by the team. But at the end of the day, guys, we're interested in the price action. And, it's ultimately what we want to do is prepare. Like, what is going to be happening in the next little while? We saw Bitcoin break out. We saw a lot of strength in the last couple of days. Yes, we're getting a bit of negativity today, and we could be throughout the weekend. But ultimately, guys, we want to see what's going on with the price action because we want to be able to buy from a position of strength. We're not buying tops. We want to buy some bottoms. And can Bittensor, the chart, actually give us a good entry? Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Now, ultimately, like I just mentioned, I want to buy the bottoms. And we're not really at a bottom, but I'm going to tell you this. The current rejection might take you closer than you think. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, the bottom, but it's going to come back to range lows, in my opinion, and close enough to it that we might even still make a higher low. It doesn't have to be a lower low, although it can, right? Look at the past, right? We thought maybe this was the bottom, and then we come for that lower low sweep, and then come back in with a higher low, back test in spring, break of the high, market structure shift, and we start slapping to the upside, right? That happens. Now, who's to say this can't happen right here, right? You always think that maybe range lows, I hit range lows, and then sweep, and then rock it up, right? Breaking previous highs. So this is the thing here, guys. It could be a scenario where that happens. I want to zoom in on this structure right here in a second. As you can see, the reality is that we're hoping that we don't come back down here. This order block right here. Okay, we don't want to come down there. There's an imbalance right there that will allow it to happen. If we break below $200, guys, it's going to happen. These wicks might have some magnet potential. That's the truth. We might be able to get to that magnet potential. In fact, at that point, people might be getting into emotional selling and maybe come down to the bottom of the range and hunt this order block right here at the point of control, right around $50. Guys, if you do not have capital reserved for Bittensor at $50, you're doing something wrong, because we don't know where the market's going to go. But the probability of coming down here is pretty strong, given the technicals that we have. The technicals suggesting if we don't hold the $200 zone, generally speaking, all into here, if we don't hold these wicks, these bottoms, guys, $50 is the target until proven otherwise. That's the truth. Okay, and I know a lot of Bittensor holders may not like this idea, but it's a fact. And you guys know I'm bullish, but it's not the point, right? The point is that we have to be prepared for possibilities. So because we got rejected like this right around here, guys, it doesn't look really good. I'll be honest. This looks pretty bad. If we don't make a higher high and start climbing and getting to range highs, at minimum range highs, because this is a range, as you can see, right? As you can see, the volume defines its range. This is participation. The point of control is right into here. A little bit higher if you include more price action, as you can see. So let me exclude some of it so we can focus on the range itself. Let me just try my best to kind of like arrange that so that we can be in proper field of view. And that's all I want, just right there. Perfect. Now, if this kind of rejigs, let's see, the point of control is still at the top. A lot of volume up here. Range lows, you can see we came down for the sweep already. We came down below. We tried to get back above, and that's all we really need to do right now, is to stay above this level right here. We don't want to fall and cascade back to this level, because if we come back down to about $220, guys, at that point, I would expect a flush. I would expect a wick. I would expect a breakdown. Unfortunately, this right here getting rejected right off of this level and falling below, we're gonna have to zoom in a little bit more, because volume defines this as a good range, fine, but the truth is this. Look at what I see here, guys. Structure, breakdown, inverse, part sim, structure. Beautiful. Now one may say, oh, Mike, that looks like an inverse head and shoulder. Sure, who cares? At the end of the day, we got back into structure. Let me just kind of make this a little bit neat. I know I'm a bit messy. I apologize, guys. Let me clean up a little bit, and then we'll zoom in again. Let's make this a bit better. So we'll use some formal lines. Structure. Structure. I like to put it right here. Structure. And ultimately, we are within the range once again. So what we need to do is actually respect the range. We need to show that we're going to accept this level. Okay, accept this level right here, get a few bounces, break the tops, get to range highs, maybe come down for a back test, who knows, and then get back up. The reality of what I'm trying to tell you is that being back into this familiar territory with good volume and participation with the point of control here is great after the dip, right? We came back down to collect those bullish bids, and the bears could not sustain a continuation. In fact, we got right back where we came from. Beautiful. So that looks like a reversal, guys. The only thing is we need follow through now. So here on the daily, what I want to do quickly is look at the fact that we're in a downtrend, and I want to look at if there's any sign of divergence. So let's take a look at the oscillators. By the way, guys, if you want to know more about this oscillator, it's called Synergy Signal. Links are in the description. It has been absolutely crushing it in the last little while, helping me gain an edge in this market, some clarity in this market. Now, what's interesting to me is that the volatility line fully rolled over. So there's still a little bit more downside, in my opinion. Okay, so be careful out there. I feel like we can even come down a little bit lower and then maybe hold. We can even come down as low as $230, which is this level. And it needs to hold because this was the last structure, right? This was the last shift of structure that we got before. And if we can hold above it, ideally, that would be great. Then maybe come back up, and then that's the thing. But first levels, I wanted to hold here. That's what I really wanted to hold. so that we don't break down all the way down into this level. Get what I mean? So right now I'm interested in here. Let me just put some green lines, green arrows, sorry guys, so I can make it very clear as to what I'm looking for as points of interest. Point of interest is right here, number 1. Next point of interest is right into here at number 2, right? And then after that, invalidation, get the heck out, right? It's coming down, and that's the reality. We got to be careful. So volatility right now is still pushing. As you can see, momentum started right around here to shift to the upside. Is it done? I don't think it's done. I think it might go up for a bullish move and get overbought. Statistically speaking, that's what happens. We swing from, oversold to overbought back and forth. Generally speaking, that's the case. You can backtest that. We get oversold, overbought, oversold, overbought, oversold, overbought. Maybe cross the 30, cross the 70, back and forth, pendulum effect, right? The only thing, this looks a little sloppy, but didn't cross over yet. No red histogram bars, so we're fine. All we're doing is get a shorter time frame push at the current moment. It's all based on the 4-hour, which we'll look at in a second. So these are 2 points of interest of mine, and we can, emphasize some more detail here by saying this is definitely an imbalance, right? A volume gap that we got to watch out for. Okay, we can fall right through very easily if we don't hold $260 more or less. Okay, now if we drop to the 4-hour, you might see a little bit more here, especially as what we're dealing with today. Okay, and everything that I just showed you. Let me just quickly, by the way, you can see the trend oscillator looks bearish, right? EMA is facing down, red histogram bars, expansion coming in, entering the bearish control zone, looking bearish. Okay, so we got to be real and clear about that. And then you start to look at what's happening with momentum, right? And volatility. Well, I can tell you this. Right now, volatility is looking okay because we've gotten oversold. That's perfect. Usually we go up for bullish responses here. The only thing that I do not like is that momentum is in a downtrend. And red expansion is coming in hot here on the 4-hour, which tells me that we could be getting a bearish response very, very soon. So with that said, guys, we have to be prepared for a bigger move. Now, I like what I see here. I see this. I see divergence, Class A bearish, as you can see. I see momentum bearish. I see this expansion coming in. It doesn't look good. It's divergence, Class A bearish divergence. However, no market structure follow through in a big way. We got 50% of the equation, which is the confirmation low, lower low right here. We broke below. Now, if we make a lower high, it's time to short. If we come back up, even as a test of this general area right around 280, that's where you got to get into your shorts. And we break below, that's a break of structure. We fall through the imbalance. This is where you want to hold. This is where I would be taking my first TPs on my short. Okay, that's the reality. I would even start to get defensive, putting a stop loss at least to break even once we get around 260 and below, to defend myself there, so a winning trade doesn't turn into a losing trade, and then ultimately ride this all the way down to this level. At this level, I would be patiently waiting to see if we can get some support here, some good shift of structure, so that we can get long and see what happens on an attempt to reclaim the previous tops. And not only that, maybe to get back into this order block and get to scrub right through it. That's basically what I want to see. I see the volatility ready to push up. So in the next 24 hours, we should be able to see a little response on the 4-hour from the bulls. Okay, so even if we maintain the range and make another slightly higher high, I'm okay with that, guys, because we're neutralizing all this negativity while price is still on an upward slope. Do you know what that means? Okay, that's a sign of strength, especially if we get fully oversold. We get fully oversold, pivot right here and start moving up, and this thing didn't even dip, neutralized. That was basically, the market has absorbed all the sell pressure. I feel like there's a bit more momentum still left. So we got to be careful before we say the bears are exhausted from this retracement. I think they're kind of getting started, showing a little bit. I think we have to be patient a little bit more. Again, cleanup. More cleanup here, guys. Lots of noise that I'm putting in here. If you appreciate the artwork, guys, subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and join me live, guys. The live streams are lit. Amazing opportunities to get together with good communities. And, of course, the Discord is where it's at. Now, we can get into lower time frames here and kind of track what's really going on here. We did get oversold a little bit here today. I think the 1 hour is not giving too much of an edge, to be honest. We could say that we swept the lows a little bit here, but we are definitely right around range lows right now. Hopefully, hoping for a double bottom for another, attempt up. I don't see much of an edge. I think your edge is on the daily. Personally, again, from a swing trader perspective, as a momentum trader myself, I would still say that this is still the bigger grand opportunity to patiently wait. For a bit of a dip to see where we land, and in the meantime, prepare for opportunities here. But if you also have any opportunities to hedge, even against the thesis to short, you should be shorting on those lower time frames, but wearing the shortest shorts you have in your closet, guys. If I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.